During the holiday season, please be extra careful while driving. A 41-year-old Oxford man failed to yield at the Denison and M24 stop sign, smashing into a vehicle of a 65-year-old Lake Orion man, sending that car spinning out of control and flipping the truck. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Both vehicles were towed away and the driver of the pickup was ticketed.
In spite of protests from neighbors, the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals has given the township the go-ahead to build a nearly 200-foot cell tower on the Seymour Lake Park property. The approval required the ZBA to grant an 85-foot setback variance. The tower is intended to eliminate, according to Oxford Fire Chief Pete Schultz, the lack of phone service in the area, which could cause serious potential issues in case of an emergency. Early in October of this year, the Oxford Township Planning Commission researched, discussed, and addressed adjacent property owners' concerns about the tower impacting property values and potential health problems due to radiation. After considerable review, approval of the final site plan was given to Verizon under the condition that the ZBA grant an 85-foot variance for the monopole tower. The variance passed by a 4-0 vote.
The executive director of the Downtown Development Authority, Joe Frost, gave some good news to the village. The Village of Oxford has been selected by the Michigan State Historic Preservation Office to receive a nomination for the National Register. The National Register is the official list of the country's historical and culturally significant places and is a part of the National Park Services. Its purpose is to support public and private efforts to identify, evaluate, and protect America's historic and archaeological resources. The four quadrants of which comprise the downtown area intersect at Washington and Burdick Street. Congratulations, Oxford.
A swearing-in ceremony was held by both the Township of Oxford and the Village of Oxford Halls last week. The newest election township trustees serving 4-year terms are Margaret Payne and Elgin Nichols. Supervisor Bill Dunn, Deputy Supervisor Deanna Cushing, Treasurer Joe Ferrari, Deputy Treasurer Tracy Devereaux, and Clerk Curtis Wright, Deputy Clerk Susan McCullough. Trustees Jack Curtis and Patty Durr were all sworn in to renewed terms. 53rd District Court Judge Nancy Karniak performed the honors at the township, while Village Clerk Treasurer Susan Nasser swore in elected Eric Nolan, returning to council through election after initially being appointed to the council, and Dave Bailey for a 4th run and election to his council seat.
Longtime Oxford resident Bill and Roll Van Wagner recently celebrated quite an accomplishment, their 60th wedding anniversary. The two met in the 1940s when Rosalind was working as a soda fountain clerk at the Van Wagner drugstore, now known as Patterson Pharmacy in downtown Oxford. At first, she resisted Bill's flirtations, afraid to get too close to the boss's nephew. Bill wouldn't give up and told her she made the best chocolate sodies in Oakland County, and he added she was also the smartest girl too. They began dating in high school through their college years, and Bill was drafted into the U.S. Army and sent to Korea. They began a long-distance love affair with each other and writing almost every day. On November 24th, 1956, the two were married at the Oxford Methodist Church on East Burdick Street. Roll gave birth to 2 sons, and they now have several grandchildren. After all these years, they say they are still very much in love. She says, Bill, he's still the love of my life. Great story.
After serving on the Oxford Library Board for more than 4 decades, Dwayne Salzwedel called the Board of Trustees meeting to order for his very last time last week. Mr. Salzwedel retired. Library Executive Director Brian Cloutier had nothing but praise for Mr. Salzwedel's many years of leadership and contributions to making the Oxford Library a really great place. Over the years, Salzwedel has served on multiple boards and commissions while continuing his tenure with the Library Board, which included the Northeast Oakland Historical Society and Museum, the Oxford Village Zoning Board of Appeals, Chairman of the Public Library Trustee Association of Oakland County, and countless church and charitable organizations. He's also a veteran serving the Air Force for 4 years. Always behind Dwayne's efforts, giving support all the way is his wife of many years, Dawn. Now that he has retired from the library board, Mr. Salzwedel won't have to worry if his library is in good hands or not, because his daughter, Duanne Cook, won a library trustee seat at the last election, and she plans to pick up where her father left off. Thank you for your many years of service to the many organizations in this community, Mr. Salzwedel.
A 17-year-old Clarkson girl jumped from her mother's moving car while traveling on M24. The girl tumbled onto the roadway, got up, and ran to a Park Sheriff's Patrol car. Crying, she told the officer she was hit by a car and was injured. The girl's mother explained to the police what really happened, and the girl was taken to a local hospital for evaluation.
That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, you know what to do. Go to your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, you can catch us right here on OCTV Charter Channel 191 and AT&T Charter Channel, AT&T Channel 99. Sorry about that.
Coming up next on OCTV Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes. And don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it's here just in time to threaten your festive dinner. H5N8 bird flu first appeared in 2014, but this year's strain seems more deadly. Migrating birds have already carried it to the Middle East and Europe, and it's expected to spread further. Dozens of poultry farms in Denmark, Switzerland, and Germany are now infected, and last week 9,000 turkeys were killed in an infected farm in Hungary. Unlike the 2014 strain, the virus is also killing wild birds, including swans and gulls. Ron Fouchier at the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam in the Netherlands says H5N8 has picked up new genes from flu strains in wild birds, which could be making it lethal to more species. While humans have so far escaped infection, the World Health Organization says the risk cannot be excluded. You can't be complacent about these viruses, says Ab Osterhaus at the Research Center for Emerging Infections and Zoonoses in Hanover, Germany. In our next story, blood plasma from young people has been found to rejuvenate old mice, improving their memory, cognition, and physical activity. The method has the potential to be developed into a treatment for people, says Sakura Manami of Alkahest, the company behind the work. The key to youth appears to be in the blood plasma, the liquid part of the blood. Several studies have found that injecting plasma from young mice into old mice can help rejuvenate the brain and other organs, including the liver, heart, and muscle. Could blood plasma from young people have the same benefits? To find out, Manami and her colleagues took blood samples from 18-year-olds and injected them into 12-month-old mice. At this age, the equivalent of around age 50 for people, the mice start to show signs of aging. They move around more slowly and perform badly on memory tests. The mice were given twice-weekly injections of the human plasma. After 3 weeks of injections, they were submitted to a range of tests. The treated mice's performance was compared to young 3-month-old mice as well as old controlled mice who had not been given the injections. They found that human plasma does have the power to rejuvenate. Treated mice ran around in open space like young mice. Their memories also seemed to improve, and they were much better at remembering their way around a maze, better than untreated mice. Young human plasma improves cognition, says Manami, who presented her findings at the Society for Neuroscience annual meeting in San Diego, California. Their memory was preserved. It's more or less what we would expect, says Victoria Balitina at the Boston University in Massachusetts. The blood of young people must have something in it that's important for keeping them young, she says. The team then examined the brains of treated and untreated mice. They looked for clues on the birth of new neurons in the hippocampus, a process called neurogenesis, which is thought to be important for memory and learning. Sure enough, the treated mice appeared to have created more new cells in their brain. Young human plasma treatment can increase neurogenesis, says Manami. Manami says she has identified some factors in young blood that might be responsible for those benefits, but she won't reveal what they are yet. Some of them seem to be crossing into the brain, while others may be acting remotely elsewhere in the body, she says. She hopes to one day translate the findings into an anti-aging treatment for people, one that might help people who start to experience the effects of an aging brain. There's anecdotal evidence that people experience benefits after blood transfusions, she says. The company she works for, Alkahest, has already started a trial for young people, of young blood that is, in people with Alzheimer's disease. Can't wait for that one. And in Florida on November 19th, the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District gave the green light to a plan to release genetically engineered male mosquitoes despite local objections. The mosquitoes have been developed by the biotechnology firm Oxitec in Oxford in the UK and carry a gene that makes their offspring die early. The idea is that the GM males will mate with native female mosquitoes and slash the population of mosquitoes carrying dangerous diseases like Zika and dengue. Similar initiatives have already been successful, and a trial in Piracicaba in Brazil, also led by Oxitec, reportedly reduced dengue cases by more than 90%. The Florida trial in Key West would only last a few months, ending when the last of the modified mosquitoes died off. In August, the U.S. Drug and Food Administration approved the plan, saying it would have no significant impact on the environment in the long term. Floridians, too, voted in favor of it in a ballot earlier this month. But in Key Haven, the part of Key West where the trial will occur, 65% of residents oppose the idea. Who knew? Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. Oxford Robotics comes to the Legacy Center. The owners there have donated some practice area to our schools. Mentor Katie Fallon has more.
So the Legacy Center, Jen and Christian, really enjoyed watching and helping us with our projects in the beginning. So they were very gracious and donated 1,000 square feet to the Oxford Community Schools robotics, the junior FLL, the FL, and the FTC, elementary and middle school. Then Cracked with Alex, he jumped on board and and donated an extra 500 square feet. So we are very appreciative to the 1,500 square feet from Cracked and Legacy Center so that we have this use to practice whenever we need to so that we're ready for all of our competitions.
And you guys have this year-round?
We do. We will start holding off-season events since we're able to get in and have access all the time. We hope to start having summer camps and just general programming practice, Lego practice, just to prepare for the upcoming season so that the kids know what to expect.
I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I guess we're officially in the holiday season now. Besides Christmas lists and shopping, it's also concert season in our schools. I checked in with band director Jim Gibbons, who brings us up to date.
So we have our all of our holiday programs. That we have a program on December 7th, which is our 7th grade band and our high school concert band and the high school symphonic band. They're the younger two bands, and they're doing a holiday program on December 7th at 7 o'clock. December 12th is the holiday program for the 6th grade advanced band, the 8th grade band, the high school jazz band, and the high school wind ensemble, which is the top performing group at the high school. Their program is December 12th at 6:30. Here, both of those are at the High School Performing Arts Center. Christmas favorites we're playing. It should be very, very enjoyable concert. The wind ensemble, we have a guest artist, we have a singer. We're doing a piece that actually is going to have Abby Prater, who's a teacher here at the high school, teaches language arts. She's going to sing with the band at that concert, so that ought to be a very cool event.
Jim reminds us that there's going to be a music festival here right after the holidays.
We host Band Festival here for Michigan School Band and Orchestra Association. It's the first weekend of March, and so there'll be probably 20, 21 groups that will perform here at the high school over that weekend. And they are rated, they get a rating the rating is how they perform. We're not compared to other schools, we just are compared to ourselves. And you get a first, second, third division rating based on your performance. And that's in March. That's kind of the Super Bowl for us. That's our big event, the school year for the concert bands. That's that's kind of our, I guess it's our M-step.
And if that's not enough, the kids will be heading south.
We are actually traveling again this year. The band is going to, the band and orchestra, because the orchestra is with us, we're going to Disney World and in Florida. So we will perform, the band is going to perform at the Magic Kingdom and do a parade performance in the Magic Kingdom. The orchestra is performing at Disney Springs, what used to be Downtown Disney. They'll give a concert there. And then both groups are doing a clinic, a workshop with a Disney musician that shows our students what it's like to be a professional musician.
One of the groups singing for us will be Peggy Mueller's Super Singers from OES. She tells us what they're up to.
Right now we're working on our theme is just a holiday music. We're getting ready to do a couple of shows. We're going to sing at the Oxford Tree Lighting. We do that every single year. All the Oxford school choirs go to that. But also we have the sign language program from the high school going to that as well. We have a concert at high school on December 14th. And then we also do a sing-along here at the school. So we're preparing for that currently.
Well, you guys do a terrific job. You think you'll be going to a Pistons game or anything?
Yes, we are. We are going Friday, February 2nd.
I told Peggy I thought she had the greatest job in the world. I asked if she ever had a bad day.
No, I could be totally honest. I've driven into work a couple of times kind of wishing I was in bed still, to be honest. But when I get here and I have those fabulous singers and all the enthusiasm and the joy that they bring out, I'm so happy that I did come in. So.
Now, what grades are these kids in?
4th and 5th graders.
That's the school news. Here's a little something to get you in the spirit. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire inside is delightful. And since we no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it
And back with you on Oxford News this week. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and a happy holiday season coming ahead. Want to remind you and say the athletic department is excited to announce Phil Kimmel as the brand new head coach of the girls soccer team coming up. Kimmel has an extensive background in soccer as a player and coach. He was Division I soccer player at University of Detroit Mercy from 2000 to 2003. Kimmel had the honor to participate in the Olympic Development Program as a player from 1995 to 1999. Kimmel was the head varsity boys summer soccer coach at Brandon from 2006 to 2012. He then moved on to the head coaching position at Brandon for the varsity girls coaching position 2009 to 2010. He then went on to coach Lobo and Michigan Impact travel programs from 2003 to 2014. He's very excited about taking the new position on for the girls soccer team, and Mr. Kimmel said their team will begin their opening season. Looking forward to that coming up March 13th, 2017. The girls will be on the field. Long awaited and overdue, we would like to pass a winning salute on to the JV Junior Wildcats. Despite the loss, they played their hearts out. The Junior Wildcat JV Gold football team, again, played their hearts out on a Saturday against the Northern Youth Football League Super Bowl championship that was held at Wildcat Stadium. They did fall to the mighty team of the Clarkston Chiefs. The score there 16-12. Again, all played with their hearts, and again, we'll look forward to seeing them on the Oxford Athletic Field. Congratulations to the Junior Wildcats. And we managed to get a copy of the officiating team of this past week's U of M Ohio State officiating team. I know they took a lot of heat, and this I want to say congratulations to them on a lot of the tough calls they made. That's them right there. Congratulations, and thanks for everything you did to help University of Michigan. I guess we'll have to wait till next year to see if we can maybe bring the maize and blue back to, of course, Michigan. Check out the Oxford website. It's the Oxford Athletic website. It's for your Oxford athlete. It's oxfordathletics.org. It's always right there at your fingertips. You can find out where your athlete's going to be, what their schedule is, just anything you need to know. It's right there at your fingertips, oxfordathletics.org. When you're on the web, check our website out, occtv.org. Hit the programs tab. You can catch any one of our programs online on the computer, iPad, phone, wherever you choose to watch. Again, we encourage you to watch those programs. Again, a lot of you are going to be losing maybe your service due to economic reasons if you're switching over from AT&T to whatever they're offering now. You can still catch our programs on our website or on YouTube. We don't want to lose you as a customer that way. You may lose us on the AT&T service, but you can also subscribe to Charter as well. OCCTV.org. That's the website right here for Oxford Community Television. That's going to wrap it in sports. Have yourself a good one. Till we do it all over again, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the average age of light vehicles in the U.S. has risen once again as consumers continue to hold on to vehicles. IHS Markit said November 22nd that the average age of light vehicles is now 11.6 years, based on a snapshot of vehicles in operation on January 1st, 2016, the most recent analysis. That's up from 11.5 years the previous year. Registrations for light vehicles in operation in the U.S. hit a record 264 million, an increase of more than 6.2 million, or 2.4%. Vehicle quality was pegged as the main reason for the increase. IHS began tracking the average age of vehicles in 2002. In that first year, the average age was 9.6 years. Not only are the vehicles getting older, consumers are keeping their vehicles for a longer period too, says IHS. As of the end of 2015, the average length of ownership was 79.3 months, a record up 1.5 months from the previous year. year. Consumers keep used vehicles for about 66 months, IHS said. IHS research also showed that there will be more than 20 million vehicles on the road in 2021 that will be more than 25 years old. Wow. And at General Motors plans to sell the Chevrolet Silverado and Colorado pickups in China starting next year to explore the country's small local market for trucks. The full-size Silverado, Chevrolet's top-selling worldwide truck, and mid-size Colorado will be assembled in the United States and sold through parallel import, GM said. The two pickups were displayed at the Guangzhou Auto Show. GM is the second automaker to introduce imported pickups into China. In April, U.S. rival Ford Motor Company said it would ship the F-150 Raptor off-road pickup to China starting in 2017. China slaps a 25% tariff on all cars and light truck imports. Wow. And at Volkswagen AG reached a landmark agreement with workers to cut as many as 30,000 jobs globally and save $3.9 billion in expenses as the company tries to claw back from its emissions cheating scandal and invest in electric vehicles. Reducing headcount by nearly 5% will come through attrition as the automaker agreed to refrain from forced layoffs until 2025, the German company said November 18th. After months of intense talks, labor and management agreed on a package to balance cost cutting. About 23,000 of the jobs will be cut in Germany. Jobs will also be eliminated in North America, Brazil, and Argentina, VW said, without being more specific. In a concession to workers, the manufacturer agreed to build 2 electric cars at German sites, one in Wolfsburg and one in Zwickau. The job cuts will come through early retirement and not replacing workers that leave. And on the recall front, Toyota Motor Company North America is recalling about 744,000 Toyota Sienna minivans in the U.S. because a defect can cause the sliding doors to open while the vehicle is in motion. The recall covers minivans from the 2011 to 2016 model years. Toyota said that under certain limited conditions, when the sliding door is impeded, a motor fuse could be opened due to an overloaded circuit. If this occurs, when the door latch is in the unlatched position, the door could open while driving, increasing the risk of injury to a vehicle occupant, Toyota said. Toyota said it would notify the affected owners of the recall by mid-January. It said it's currently developing the remedy for this condition. And at FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is recalling over 34,000 vehicles worldwide because of defects that could cause fuel leaks. FCA will recall over 34,000 Dodge Durango and Jeep Grand Cherokee SUVs from the 2016 model year for potential fuel leak issues, the company said in a statement. The recall covers over 30,000 vehicles in the U.S., over 2,500 in Canada, 489 in Mexico, and over 1,400 vehicles elsewhere. The vehicles, fuel rail crossover tube and manifold fastener could make inadvertent contact as a result of manufacturing errors, potentially resulting in a fuel leak and a subsequent fire, FCA said in a statement. The recall impacts only certain trucks with 3.6-liter engines assembled at the company's Saltillo, Mexico assembly plant between February and April, according to documents filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. FCA said it estimates about 330, that is to say, of the SUVs have the problem. It will begin notifying dealers and owners about the problem on or about December 19th. Dealers will inspect each of the vehicles and will replace parts as necessary. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.